Hey everyone, thanks for joining me. I'm Tim Laskus, and you're listening to The Tim Laskus Show, episode 61. Today's featured guest is Ronen Gafni. But before I go into more detail, let me ask you, how many of you out there are looking for a custom cool logo, either for your podcast, your book cover, a banner, maybe business cards, or even your website? You know you need to update that website. Well, I have a great sponsor, Design Crowd. Design Crowd does it cheaper, faster, and more creative than anyone else out there. So go to timlaskus.com/resources. Click on Design Crowd to get your discount rate. Again, that's timlaskus.com/resources and click on Design Crowd. In addition, if you are a podcaster and you need a mic flag, man, there's not a lot of people out there who do it, but there's someone who does it best, and that's called Impact PBS mic flags. This is the same company that I use for my mic flag. If you've seen my social media, you've seen it on right on top of my Heil PR40 Chrome Edition. And man, they're a sponsor of this podcast. I'm so happy to have them on board. So go to timlaskus.com/resources, click on Impact PBS, and you will get a discount code, Tim Laskus. And that's all you got to do, and you'll get 10% off your next purchase. So go to timlaskus.com/resources, click on Impact PBS for your mic flag discount. Now, on to today's guest, who is Ronen Gafni. Now, Ronen is a former computer programmer for the Israeli army. That's quite impressive. And he and co-founder, I'm not sure if I can get it correct, Simcha Gluck, developed FreshBiz Global as a benefit training company that combines fun, multidimensional winning, and smart thinking into organizations around the world. You know, they've been featured as a Game Changers 500 company alongside well-known brands such as Whole Foods, Kickstarter, and Zappos. They're a very cool entrepreneurial kind of company that has developed a board game. Man, it is way much better than Monopoly. And Ronen goes into detail about this and how it's really cool in shaping entrepreneurs around the world. So get ready, buckle in, and enjoy.
The Tim Laskus Show, in search of entrepreneurial gold. Tim digs deep into the minds of his guests, entertaining, down to earth, and informative. Now, here's your host, Tim Laskus.
Welcome, everyone. Today's guest is Ronen Gafni. Ronen, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you, Tim, for having me.
Hey, it's a pleasure. And you were telling me that you are one of the best cooks around. Is that true?
Well, for sure around my family, yeah. And yeah, it's a really fun hobby, and I love doing it. And it's as long as you have some dish that your kids are waiting for and asking for, that's mean that I've been doing my part the right way.
Well, that's good. But the only thing I can cook are hot dogs. I don't know if you like hot dogs, Ronen.
Oh, not so much, but it really depends on where you get them around the globe. Yeah. If you happen to be in Germany, then yeah, for sure, go for one.
There you go. Well, that's excellent. Hey, Ronen, well, tell the listeners a little bit about yourself and what are you currently working on professionally?
Okay, awesome. So first of all, I live in Israel, born and raised in the startup nation. I'm 44. I'm married. And I have 2 kids. They're pretty grown up by now, so it's makes it much easier to travel the globe when you have like grown-ups at home instead of like little kids. I'm the founder and the game creator of FreshBiz. So that's my business with my partner Simcha, and basically everything that we do is based on a game that I developed, a board game, which is also called FreshBiz, and it's about the development of entrepreneurial thinking. So I would kind of like call it the monopoly of the new shared economy.
Gotcha. So this is a board game or is it an online game?
It's a board game. You actually, sit around the board and play the game.
Great. Now, how does it work? Kind of break it down for people who, we can't see the game, but kind of give us that visualization.
So it's a business simulation. You got to get to a winner's spot on the island, on a specific region on the board. And in order for you to do that, you have to like move around the board and be engaged in different dimensions of business activities. So you got to make some money. So you're starting businesses. You can trade on the stock market. You have what we call action cards, which are unique leverage options that you have, so you can use them, and you have business opportunities that you can take advantage of. So basically, in order for you to be able to win the game, you got to be really engaged in all kinds of different dimensions of business. And then through that, you get to really work on your muscle memory around creativity and teamwork and strategic thinking and all of those different things. And what happens in the game basically really wires your brain to think differently, and then you can take it back into your business.
Well, that's excellent. So is there anything in there about money management that kind of helps you to manage your money, your finances?
Part of it, definitely, because money is another dimension of doing business. So you have some money, you start your game with some money, and then you make some more money, and you need to really decide on what are you investing your money. You're investing your money on movement. You're investing your money on starting more businesses. You're investing your money in buying stocks or doing deals with other players. So definitely there is an aspect of like managing your money, managing your different resources. We do believe that money is only one more form of currency. So definitely you manage your money, but you manage other currencies.
Now, how did you come up with this idea of creating a game for entrepreneurs?
Well, it started with really a sleepless night that I got inspired for the idea, and I started sketching the board and putting everything into a PowerPoint presentation, so I will have all the different elements. And then it was a process of about 6 years to develop it. But I think that the initial trigger for it was the fact that I really felt that, first of all, people are not really ready for the new era of business, I would say, or the new stage of business. And that was like 13 years ago. And, also what I knew from my childhood, and I guess that you as well, and almost everyone that listens to us, I used to play Monopoly. I guess you also played Monopoly, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So for me, it was kind of a crazy idea that the muscle memory that people get about business is based on the monopoly mentality. Because Monopoly is like, first of all, the only way to actually win the game is if you kill everyone else. If everyone else around you is bankrupt. So that's the only way to win the game. And while doing that, you don't really get to even practice, high level of creativity or proactivity or any of that. It's like you either land on a spot that you can buy, or you land on a spot that somebody else bought and you have to pay. And that's the game. It's a zero-sum, last man standing game. And for me, that was very, very old school. Like, who would like to play business when winning is by everyone else dying? Sounds to me like very, very old school, non-relevant, for sure not for the new shared economy and today's economy and what's possible. And I really wanted to create something which really presents entrepreneurship as I really see it, which is a game of self-expression, of creativity, of proactivity, of collaboration. So that was like the initial trigger to develop the game.
So is there a winner and a loser in your game?
Well, the catch about the game is that it's a time-based game. You have 90 minutes to play the game. So you can either win or lose, but there is no loser. You can get to the winner's lot in 90 minutes or not. But, it's pretty much like life. Life is also a time-based game. You got to get to where you want to go, or like what do you see as the winner's lot. But time is limited. The only difference is that in the fresh-based game, we actually tell you when the time is up. But in life, you don't even know that.
Gotcha.
There can be more than one winner, and I think that's the major difference about it.
Now, is there a way to cheat?
There is always a way to cheat, but we always assume integrity, Yeah. You can only cheat yourself, because at the end of the day, you want to learn something new about yourself. So if at the end of the day, you got to learn that you can only win by cheating, I guess you already knew that before you started to play the game.
There you go. Absolutely. Now take me back. You said it took you 6 years to develop. You had this idea. Like, where did you get it manufactured and made? Like, who does all of that? The packaging. How did you figure that out?
So that basically was really at the end. That was like after the 6 years of developing the game. It was, sketching and testing, and that what took me the 6 years. The moment I decided to actually, turn it into a business, then I happened to have a friend that is in the manufacturing business, and everything was like manufactured in China through an Israeli company that does exactly this. So that was the easy part. Manufacturing today is like the easy part. It's very easy to find people that can build for you almost anything you want to build. So that was like technically an easy part. Already like we had 3 different versions since the original one, like different boxes and different boards and things like that. But really manufacturing, it's the today that's easy. That's doable.
Got you. Now, did you do any kind of testing, like okay, what the logo or design should look like, or colors, and how the box and the print should how did you figure all that out?
So fortunately, my wife is a graphic designer, and while I started developing the game, we also started our business, which was a branding company. So I had everything at my disposal. I had like someone who can really help me with the design and the branding and the logo and everything. So that's a very important skill, I think, for any business. Like really being able to to master the art of branding. That's crucial. And I'm really glad that I have this. First of all, that I have my wife that could have helped me do it. But I can tell you that over the years, I really got myself to be skilled enough to take care of all of that as well. So yeah, at the beginning, she helped me with everything. She designed and created everything for us. And from the moment I decided to make it into a business, then I basically took over the designing parts, and I'm taking care of this as well. So that's part of what I do as well.
Excellent. Well, did you have to pay your wife for her expertise?
Well, my debt to her is like so much bigger than I can ever, like consider as part of the branding, because part of this idea of the, making the decision to turn it into a business involved the making of the decision to sell our house, so we will have the funds to invest in the business.
Wow.
So the payment for the branding was the small money.
Oh, I got you. So how well has the game been selling, and what's kind of the revenue look like coming in?
So it's going really, really amazing. We don't sell the game as a game. We only sell the game as part of a training tool or a training kit for coaches and trainers around the globe, because we really want people to get the experience of the game alongside the entire experience of the workshop, so they can really get the added value of the debriefing that comes with playing the game and the insights and the ideas. So at the moment, it's a training tool. So we have partners around the globe. So far, we had like over 50,000 people participating in our different workshops. We have partners in 20 different countries now. So it's really amazing. It's really it's a global movement. We really have like tens of thousands of people that went through this, and thousands of people that are part of our community, and really making a significant difference in the way they play life and play business. So going very well. Yeah.
Well, that's excellent. So it sounds like just, general customers are not who you're really targeted to, but it's people who are in coaching, who you develop relationships with, and then they include this as part of their coaching and mentoring programs, correct?
Yeah, I guess that in the future it will also be available as kind of a home edition for the general public, but for now it's like more for people that are part of our workshops. That can be, students or small business owners, entrepreneurs, executives in different companies. But yeah, it comes in the form of a workshop.
Well, it sounds like you've got many different facets worked out as far as being an entrepreneur. What are a couple of tips you would have for some of the listeners who are entrepreneurs in the beginning stages or entrepreneurs who are just kind of wanting to jump in there? What are some real tips and strategies to help them kind of take it to the next level?
Okay, so first of all, I'm a big fan of creative thinking. So I really think that what's amazing about the time that we live in now is that you can be super creative in how you build your business and how you run your business and what's possible for you. So if like 30 years ago there was a specific way to start a business or specific set of skills or initial fund that you need to start something, today you can be way more flexible and way more creative on how to do it. So I think that like tip number one is redesign your business. Like whether you have a business or you want to start a business, it's time for you to really like take the time and redesign many different aspects in your business. Redesign business models, redesign your products, redesign how you do marketing. Because I think that most people, when they start a business or when they run a business and they want to do something, even unconsciously, they just copy paste all the ideas on how things are done. So this is how you do marketing. This is how you do production. This is how you do, and all of those are, maybe one way of doing things. But nowadays you can really rethink everything. You can redesign everything. So don't be ashamed to just like start from slack, really get yourself like a piece of paper and redesign whatever you want to create now. Thinking like if there is nothing that holds me back, and if I really want to create something that would work best for me, because I think that at the end of the day, business should fit our lifestyle. It should really fit who we are. And a specific business model can work for me, and a different business model can work for you. So my tip is like redesign everything that you want to create in your business so it will be set for you and with no like old school restraints on how it should be done.
So basically, what you're saying is, there's a lot going on. There's people often we just kind of we don't recreate the wheel. We jump in there with what's already being done. And you're saying kind of take a step back and really look at who you are, what your business is, and be careful and just kind of conscious of the steps you're making and everything that you do. Is that kind of correct?
Yeah, and just like feel free to reinvent how you do things, because it's possible nowadays. You can really decide that you want to structure your business model in a different way. You can structure your marketing in a different way. You can structure partnerships in a different way. Like we have so much flexibility today. Technology supports it, the globalization supports it. So you can really do all kinds of like really crazy things if you're not limiting yourself to the way business is done or used to be done. So just like come really open and really free your mind.
Well, it makes a lot of sense, Ronan, because we're creatures of habit. We typically only go to about 3 to 5 different restaurants. We usually drive the same way to
Right.
our business or to the grocery store. We like to do things kind of the same way so that it doesn't make it too complicated for us. And we tend to take that kind of thinking and put it into business, and we do the same things over and over again without really putting much thought into, is this really working, or does this really represent my business? And so a lot of that just comes out of habit in how we live our daily lives of just doing the same things, eating the same foods, going to the same restaurants, driving the same way to our jobs or to work or to our office or whatever it might be. And so when it comes to business, really try to be more aware of what you're doing and why you're doing it, and be creative and flexible and find different ways to do various aspects of your business. And that is great. And what's another tip that you would have, Ronan?
So, following this, just to give like the audience a nice reference, then I would really like to recommend the book that is called Creativity Inc. It's by the founder of Pixar. and it's really an awesome book on how to build a culture of creativity, how to really think different on different issues, because Pixar are they're one of the most creative companies out there, but it's amazing to see how creativity is not just about the movies or the ideas for the movies, but the entire culture of how you do business is really embedded in the company. So really, how to create a culture of creativity, that's amazing resource. So I really recommend just like reading or listening to that book. Really opens your mind and tells an amazing story that I'm sure that most people don't really know the backstory of Pixar, and it's amazing. It's amazing story about a pivot from a technological company into a creativity company, and it's really amazing. So that's my second recommendation.
Love that resource. Absolutely. Pixar is on the cutting edge of everything they do. And I think that's a wonderful, wonderful recommendation. Now, Ronen, take us back. When did you first realize that you were an entrepreneur? Was this going back to diapers? Were you in diapers and you were an entrepreneur? Were you selling your diapers, your milk? What was going on?
I think so. Yeah, actually, from the moment I can remember myself, that's what I always wanted to do. I never wanted to be, a policeman or a fireman. I never had those aspirations. I really remember myself. I think back to the age of like 6 or 7, thinking about business and learning about business and asking my parents about business, and that was like my world. And from the age of like 13 or 14, I started reading all the business books and the stories of Coca-Cola and McDonald's and Microsoft and all of that. So yeah, I think I wanted to do it from the moment I remember myself, definitely.
And when did you first kind of jump in full time as an entrepreneur, doing your own thing?
Well, I remember that I was like playing with the idea of entrepreneurship when I was like 14, 15, started programming and starting like developing some programs and games. Actually, putting money into it was when I was in the army in Israel. I was a computer programmer in the army, so I had some free time in the afternoons, and I went to a course of trading on the stock market, and that was like my really first jump into the world of business and money and entrepreneurship. Me and my friend, we took a kind of a big loan from the bank and started trading on the stock market, and it was like really interesting experience for us. I've done it for about 3 years, and it was a hell of a ride. Yeah.
So, what's the state of entrepreneurship in Israel today?
Israel, I think, as you know, is one of the most innovative countries in the world. I think it's always like number 2 in the number of startups that are in the country, right after the U.S. And you have to remember, we have like 7 million people. You have 300 million people, so it's really crazy. I think every second person in Israel has a startup or has an idea or wants to start a business. It's a very, very entrepreneurial spirit country. The startup scene here is amazing. It's amazing, really. Some of the biggest and brightest companies are coming from Israel. I'm not even sure that all the people that are using those products really knows that there are Israeli companies like Waze and Mobileye that was just bought by Intel, and many of Intel's innovation comes from the development center here, and Microsoft and Google have development centers in Israel. So it's a very, very strong scene of entrepreneurship and startups here in Israel.
Yeah, it sounds like it's alive and well and doing great. Well,
Yeah.
Ronen, let's move into the dig round where I'm going to ask you 3 questions, and if you could answer pretty quickly. What
Okay.
keeps you motivated, Ronen?
Well, okay. I think that the mission that we serve definitely in FreshBee is like changing the way people play life, upgrading the mindset, changing the game for them. That's my biggest motivation, really seeing what difference does it makes in people's lives.
Okay. Now, who do you look up to as a business leader?
I would have to say Richard Branson. I think is like the ultimate entrepreneur, as I see, doesn't afraid to break the rules and like get into different fields and I always have fun as part of doing business. So definitely see him as a role model.
Yeah, for me too. He's always thinking out of the box.
Yeah,
Now,
definitely.
if you had to choose between street smarts and book smarts, which one are you going to choose?
Mm. Well, I think it depends on the books because me personally, I read hundreds of books, and I really see like a big difference between like let's say academic books on how to do business and the street smart books, because I think you can get a lot of knowledge from books. Of course, you have to be out there and be on the streets and really do business. But I think it's a nice combination because at the end of the day, it's a personal smart. It's not about street smart or book smart. It's about what are your personal insights from those experiences and how you translate it into doing something smart in the real world. So I think it's like a nice combination between being out there and reading the right books and having the right insights.
Absolutely. Now, since you've been, an entrepreneur for many years, you've been doing this. You mentioned how, at one time you went and, borrowed a lot of money from a bank, and you also had sold your house to make your game kind of dream come true. I'm sure at some point there was some stressful kind of times for you. Can you take us back to a moment when you were mentally just drained, and how did you get through it?
Whoa. Yeah, been through many of those, like any other entrepreneur. I think the first one was really selling the house and making that decision to really invest the money in starting the business at the first place. It's not an easy decision. It's also a decision that impact the entire family. So that was like a really deep moment of really reflecting into what's what's really important and really understanding the difference between a home and a house and realizing that a home is where you get to live your dreams and a house is just like the four walls that you get to live in, and I think that distinguish really made a difference on every other decision or low point that I came across. It's always like going back to the decision that you know um, we also wrote about in our book. It's always a choice between a different set of challenges. It's like you always have to pay a price. The question is always like, what are you paying the price for? Are you paying the price for fulfilling your dreams or maintaining your fears? So every time that I have a low point, that can be like a low income month, a bad time in cash flow, or a deal that doesn't go well, and so I always go back to there. Like what set of challenges I'm willing to take, and what am I paying the prices for?
Yeah, I mean, it selling your house in order to follow your dream. I mean, that must have been, a really difficult moment and thinking, oh my God, my wife, my family, they depend on me, and I better make this work.
Yeah, it's a good motivator, that's for sure.
Yeah. Now, what would you say has been one of the most fulfilling moments as an entrepreneur?
Actually, in our business, I think it was the moment where we got to sign up like six new partners in six new countries in one weekend. It was about a year and a half ago, where we got to be invited to a global event of a big training company and presenting FreshBiz to really representatives from over 20 countries, and like really seeing the impact that it creates on people from different cultures and different countries that really understand our market and get validated for the power of our tool, and like signing up collaborations with six of them in the weekend, like with many more over the following month. But I think that was like a really highlight of our business. It was like um, really great moment to be appreciated and really trusted by people that are the top of our market.
Yeah, well, being able to see that you have a worldwide reach and impact must have been amazing. And really, for you, it goes, yes, this is why I'm doing it. People around the world are enjoying, what I'm bringing to the table. And that's incredible. Well,
Yeah.
Ronen, unfortunately, we run out of time. But before we go, where can the listeners find you online, learn more about you and your game?
So freshbeesgame.com, that's our website. Ronen Gafni on Facebook, and Fresh Bees Game on Twitter, of course. We are more active on Facebook and on our website. And everyone who will send a message to with the word book to 44144 will get a free copy of our book, The New Entrepreneurs. So
Wow.
that's
What was that number again?
It's 44144. Send the message book. Just send an SMS with the message book, and you'll get a free copy of our book, a digital copy of our book.
Oh, that's incredible. I appreciate it. That's wonderful. Well, freshbiz.com, that's freshbiz.com. Is that correct?
Freshbeesgame.com. Yes.
Oh, freshbizgame.com.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Ronen. You've been a blast, and I've enjoyed having you on the show. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to staying in touch.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Want more entrepreneurial tips? Go to timlaskos.com.